Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
And Ken.
And there we go. There we go.
There we go with a big start as usual. Woo! $3 tonight, my friends out there. Welcome to Sports Unfolded NBA Preview 2023-24 season. We are excited to bring you all 30 teams. We're going to break them down and talk about them. I am your host, Eric. Big dog right above me. My main man, Ron. How are you tonight, both of you gentlemen? I'm excited. Season kicking off tonight. We've got a game going on right now on the West.
Yep.
A couple of matchups tonight, and then tomorrow really seems to kick off the full schedule, and everybody will be playing.
Right.
So we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna go Western Conference to Eastern Conference. Our local team, the Boston Celtics, the Big Three right there back in the day, the new Big Three, the Big Three there as well. And we'll break it down and finish with our Boston Celtics at the end, and then give you our picks on who we think's going to win the NBA title this season. Ron, Kenny, are you gentlemen ready to hoop it up?
I'm so ready.
All right, let's do this. Let's start off in the Pacific Division. We're going to start with the Sacramento Kings. Last season won this division, in the West, 48-34. The number one scoring team in the league, 120.7 points per game. They were actually second best in shooting at 49.4 and third in assists. They're coached by Mike Brown. It was his first season. They didn't have a first-round draft pick. They did add JaVale McGee. Obviously, some of their big stars, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Kevin Hewitt, he came on last season as well. What do you guys think about the Sacramento Kings? Is this the breakout year for them?
I don't know. In my opinion, I think they may take a step back only because of what other teams have added.
I like the youth. I like the fact that they can still run, right? There's still that team that people fear now because of the amount of points they can put up. They've got the beam, right? So they've got some energy there when they win. I like what Mike Brown's done. And again, you've got to remember, he's got that Golden State Warriors ties. He kind of knows how to run an up-tempo offense. I think they're still, obviously we know we're going to talk about the next team afterwards and what they've added, but they're still a force to be reckoned with in the West. Correct, Kenny?
Correct. The only problem, Keegan Murray has to do better. He has to start playing. He was number fourth pick, so he has to start playing better.
Yeah, listen, and then they got some veterans. Harrison Barnes, I think he's up there in age. Malik Monk. So they've got some guys that can do some things. To your point, Keegan Murray has to be that guy that steps up, beat that fourth option. Again, some of these guys off the bench as well that can get that ball flowing. But again, this is going to be a very difficult division because all these teams are very good.
I think the problem that they're going to run into is the defensive side of the ball. Because, when it shifts into playoff time, going down the stretch and then playoffs, those teams that are experienced seem to be able to rise to the occasion because of that experience, and they play a better defensive brand of basketball. And I think that's where this team needs to improve.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the big story here of the offseason, and that was the Phoenix Suns. Last season, 45-37, fifth overall in blocks, but again, lost 8 and now, so that could be, a difference maker there. Third overall in assists. They hired Frank Vogel, And I was always wondering, like, this guy just keeps getting jobs. It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing to me how many Frank Vogel. I mean, he's getting jobs upon jobs. I don't know, but anyway, obviously the ads. Bradley Beal gives them a legitimate big three, if you want to call it. Grayson Allen, very sneaky pick. Eric Gordon as well. Some toughness on both of those guys. I thought that was big. They did lose Chris Paul, Cameron Payne, and DeAndre Ayton, so a couple of big pieces for them. Obviously, we know about Durant and Booker and what they bring to the table. Booker already banged up a little bit. Beal tonight's game, not even playing in tonight's game.
Already started.
Is this like we've seen with the Brooklyn Nets and all that hype, and then these guys don't play
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it seems like. Didn't they only play like 8 games or so?
That was that Brooklyn. Yeah, when Brooklyn, him, Kyrie, and it was just injuries upon injuries.
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, if you're going to see that again from this team, then what good is it, right? I mean, we know that Durant is going to miss some time. I mean, he's just been brittle the last few years. So, yeah, I just see a lot of the same. I see a lot of the same.
Kenny, your opinion on the Phoenix Suns? Should the hype be real?
The hype is real. Let me tell you something about Frank Vogel. He's a defensive juggernaut. Not a genius, but a juggernaut. He knows his defense. Bradley Beal averaging 22.1 points per game. They need him.
But how many basketballs are on the court at a time is my question. Would there be some way? You're asking now, who's taking less shots? Devin Booker, who's probably one of the best shooters in the NBA. Bradley Beal, who we know can score. Kevin Durant, who's obviously one of the top 5 NBA players of all time, if you really look at some of his numbers. Who's the guy that's going to suffer here?
Well,
I think it has to be Durant. I think he has to show that he's willing to sacrifice to be, the team to succeed. Yeah. So if his sacrificing makes the other players rise to the occasion, then that's the only way it's going to work. If he doesn't sacrifice, I don't think the team goes anywhere.
Yeah, and they did pick up some guy, Nurkic from Portland. I like that move. Again, very underrated.
Yeah.
The Ayton replacement. I think this could work for them because I think he's probably a little bit better of a scorer as well. So you think about it, he's going to get some opportunities because some of those guys are going to get double teamed, or obviously the attention gets drawn to Beal, Durant, and Booker. This kid could have a very good season. And I like the Gordon pickup because I like the toughness.
Yeah.
I think that gives them that defensive guy that you're talking about, Kenny, with Vogel, and gives them a guy that, will buy into that system.
Right.
Yeah. Nurkic's only 29, and he's real good in the pick and roll.
And don't forget your boy, Bol Bol.
Bol Bol.
Bol Bol in the house.
Bol in the
Phoenix,
house.
baby.
Bol Bol.
All right. Let's talk about those Los Angeles Clippers. So again, this interesting team, 44-38 last season, 3rd overall in 3-point percentage at 38.1. So you think about it, they can shoot the rock. Coached by Tyronn Lue, who's 133 and 103 with the Clippers. Drafted Kobe Brown in the first round at number 30. They added Kenyon Martin Jr. Did lose Eric Gordon. Obviously, the big question marks here. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook. Can they figure it out? Can they stay healthy? Right now, the story coming out of everywhere is Kawhi's healthy. He's good to go.
Right.
We've heard this before. We've seen it before.
Day 1, healthy.
Day 1, day 2, out for 6 weeks.
Yes.
So again, obviously the stars are there. Do they align this year? Does it finally happen for the Clippers where these guys all kind of play together and actually have a full season?
No, I don't believe that's in the cards. I just don't buy it. I don't see it. And it's too bad because, when you look at the team's roster, I think they're pretty interesting. I mean, look, we all know the talent that Westbrook had when he was in his prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's now past his prime. He hasn't won, and this is not going to get it done. Now, in if everything is perfect and you have Paul George and Kawhi on the court, it's a very difficult team to play against. But that's the problem. They can't stay on the court. Age, it has a funny way of saying, you just got to pull it back. You're not going to be on the court enough to make a difference. And if they are on the court a lot during the season, it's goal in the playoffs.
Look, we've seen it before. They've got some guys, Marcus Morris, Norman Powell. I mean, some of those guys can definitely contribute.
Right.
You can't ask them to be the guy, though.
You can't.
And that's the problem. I think we're going to still see the same scenario, same sad song here.
Yeah.
Oh, who's saying that? Oh, this same song.
It's the same old song.
Same old song. Was that
Digital Underground?
Right, Digital Underground, baby.
Yes,
Good job.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Come on. That's what we're seeing. It's the same old song.
Yeah.
We've been waiting 3 years for these two to be on the court together.
See, I would have went with
years.
Same Old Song and Dance by Aerosmith.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that,
Are
Ron.
you
I like
serious,
that, Ron.
Kenny? Come on,
I like that, Ron. I like that,
Kenny.
Ron. So,
Kenny, not tonight, bro. Not tonight. Let's.
is this?
All right, come on.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. So, speaking of Kawhi, he has missed 147 games out of 308 since he has been with the
Good
Clippers.
average.
So
More than
when
50%.
Yeah. So when Paul and Kawhi are on the floor, they are 94 and 46.
It's a big difference.
It is a big difference.
Big
Like I said,
difference.
they're a force to be reckoned with if they can stay on the court, but that's not going to
We
happen.
haven't seen it. We haven't seen it. So let me ask you this question before we move on to the next team. If these two guys, and obviously it's a major if, can stay on the court, could this team possibly win a championship based on the talent they have?
They can make the playoffs.
They could. They can make it difficult. Look, Paul George is an exceptional player. All right. Kawhi Leonard is an exceptional player. Those are talents that a lot of teams just don't have. And when you get guys on the court that are that good, you don't know what could happen. But again, I caution people, injuries.
Yeah.
They can't stay on the court, though. They can't be consistent.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. 44-38 last season, second overall in points at 118.9 last season, number one in assists. So we think about the Golden State Warriors as that offense, but they move the ball. And they were second overall in three-pointers. Obviously, Steph Curry, what he does and changes the whole dynamic of shooting. He's changed, obviously, the whole universe when it came to the NBA now and what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
They did add Chris Paul and Rudy Gay. They lost Dante DiVincenzo, Jordan Poole, Andre Iguodala retired. I mean, you think about his career and what he meant. We know the stars: Curry, Green, Thompson. What can this team again make a run? You think about age. We talk about injuries. A lot of these guys have missed time. Clay missed almost a year and a half. Still not what we expected to see from him. Does he have that bounce back year? Can Curry stay healthy for 60 plus games? Can Draymond stay out of trouble? Does Chris Paul still have that extra gear? Are there more questions now with the Golden State Warriors than we've seen in the past?
I actually don't think so, because it seems like every other year they're healthy. And, look, I like the talent. I mean, when you think about it, even if they lose Thompson, right? Well, they still have Peyton, right? They still have, other guys that can contribute, that if somebody does go down, they can pick up the slack
Wiggins
for a while.
Yeah, we still get Wiggins again, another guy that I know Kenny's boy is Draymond and or what he means to you, Kenny, but what are your thoughts on Golden State? Because to me, this is probably the most interesting team in the league.
Mike Dunleavy might be a genius. Okay, all right. He might be a genius. Okay, all right. He got Chris Paul. Okay, all right, which is phenomenal. So Chris Paul runs the point. You move Stephen Curry to shooting guard, small forward, power forward, then you get a center. What in the blue blazing will go on with this rotation? This Levy might be a genius. He might be a genius, but the fact is, Jonathan Kuminga has to step up. Has to step up. If he can run that pick and roll with Chris Paul, forget about it.
Yeah, and then you think you add, Kuminga. You also have Looney and Saric.
Yeah.
And so I think rebounding wise, I think they're going to improve. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, you got a guy that can run the point and some rebounding added into there. You already have the shooting. This team is more dangerous to me. I think it's more dangerous than what it's been in the last couple of years.
As much as we talk about health with the Clippers, again, this has been a team that I've seen for many years now that has the same issue with either Steph, Clay, one of those guys is out. And you listen, they can probably get by Thompson, and I'm not saying Thompson's not a great player, but losing him is not as bad as losing Curry. They can't afford to lose Curry. They're getting up in the age where, look, the window's closing.
Yeah.
And I think Curry's going to be the key here. If he can stay healthy, this 65-game rule now where, again, to be an MVP or get any awards, maybe that pushes you through some of the injuries that you normally would have sat out for or you rested. And that's what this team needs. Because without Curry, to me, yes, they've got some nice pieces, some nice guys. But Andrew Wiggins, there was a time last season where he didn't even play. He shut it down. Something happened off the court, right? Kuminga's been a question mark. Can he be better? You know what I mean? Looney dominated in the finals against the Celtics, but we didn't see that same player last season.
Right. That's
where I say you need Curry, and then you got to see if Chris Paul. I like the addition, Kenny, and I agree with you on this part of it. I think it's right. He's one of the best point guards to ever do.
Yeah.
But he also plays a different style than Golden State runs.
Yeah.
He's not the run and gun guy. He's more the slow it down, pick and roll. Do they rotate the offense a little bit differently to match his skill?
Exactly. That's when the part was like, well, you need to come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that second unit, maybe he can good with that second unit.
They changed the offense for him.
Exactly. And let's not forget, Klay Thompson's contract is up this year. So do they sign him in the middle of the season to keep him, to lock him up, to let him finish as a Warrior?
Or do you see what he produces and then make a decision that way and free up money?
Yes.
That's probably what what route they're going down.
Yeah.
Look, like I said, it all depends on Steph Curry, right? I mean, that's what we're really saying here. I mean, if you lose Curry, you're not winning a championship. Period.
Right.
I mean, he's one of the most dangerous players in the league.
So fully healthy, this team wins a championship?
If he's healthy, this team can contend.
Oh, see, I was trying to see if I could get you, Ron. I would try to get you. Speaking of contenders, last team here in the Pacific, the Los Angeles Lakers. Darvin Ham came over last year, got him back to the playoffs, right? 43-39. They lost to the Nuggets in the playoffs. Jalen Hood, Shafino, their first round draft pick at number 17. They added Christian Wood. That's a nice pickup. Lost Mo Bamba, lost Dennis Schroeder, but obviously LeBron, Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, they're big three. We know about that. We talk about health concerns. This one is like, wow, okay. Can LeBron at season 21 now, which ties an NBA record for most seasons by an NBA player.
Yep.
What does he have left in the tank? He still averaged over 20 plus points a game. He still was that guy last season. Can he do it again? Does Anthony Davis stay healthy?
We go through this every single year. It's like almost. I feel like it's a broken record already. He's not going to stay healthy. He's not. He can't. He physically can't. His size and the fact that he's so brittle, he just can't stay healthy.
But this is
He
where
can't.
Christian Wood, to me, helps him. Because
Right.
it gives him a legitimate
Yes.
big guy.
Yeah.
And now you move him to power forward. It's probably less physical for him. I think that helps Anthony Davis. That's why I like that pickup. I think, look, D'Angelo Russell, he took another leap last season. He played really well with the Lakers.
Mhm.
Gives LeBron, maybe LeBron doesn't have to push himself as hard to be the guy and score all the time. You can't forget the experience that this team has. And they did win a championship 4 years ago. We make it seem like it was, 15 years ago. They won a championship 4 years ago. Yes, you talk age and injuries, but LeBron's still LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Eric, this is a good team. The addition of Wood is really going to make a difference because, maybe they're going to try to give Davis a little more time on the bench for a little bit, maybe hopefully to keep him healthy, but he still has to get out there and play the games, those tough games. And when you look at that division, Phoenix, Golden State, Sacramento, and the Clippers, that is not games that you can take off because, to me, that's the best division in basketball.
It very well could be. Yes, I agree.
I
Because
mean,
all those teams technically are playoff team.
right.
Right.
And somebody isn't going to make the playoffs there.
So who wins that division?
I say Phoenix wins it,
Okay.
the division.
Yeah.
Kenny, you
I say-
agree?
I say Phoenix.
Phoenix
one,
as well?
one thing with the Lakers.
Oh, yes, sir.
Austin Reeves had a fantastic summer. Got a
Yes.
great extension. The main key, Rui Hachimura.
Yes.
Rui Hachimura. He has to come up and play good. They signed him last year in a trade. He
Mhm.
has to come up and play good.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I'm not a big Austin Reeves fan. I watched him in the USA tournament in the tournament, and I wasn't impressed. I think he was overmatched. I think you give me right now a pan with some oil in it, and I could throw something in it and it'll flash. That's to me what he is. I don't think he is as good as they've paid him, and B, I don't think he makes them better. I think he's a nice little piece off the bench if they need a spark here or there, but he isn't going to help them. They need LeBron to be healthy. They need D'Angelo Russell to continue that upward climb.
Well,
Davis
it all
stay
depends
healthy.
on those things for every team for the Stars, Eric. I mean, if you don't have a healthy star on your team, you're not winning it.
Oh, I agree
period.
with you, but you saw some of the other ones where we could say, look, you lose this guy, Golden State, Wiggins, maybe, he's a guy that could step up. I don't think if you lose LeBron for 10 games, Austin
they'd have nothing
Reeves
like that.
carries you. I don't see that. You know what I mean? Christian Wood, nice player, can spell some time, maybe but if he's got to be 20 games in, you know what I mean? Does that benefit the Lakers? Does that make them, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they can afford to lose anybody for significant amount of time. Not like some of these other teams.
They cannot.
But you got Phoenix winning it, the division. You got Phoenix winning it. I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say it's going to be Sacramento because I don't believe Phoenix will stay healthy. I don't. I don't believe Kevin Durant will play more than 60 games. I don't think Bradley Beal, who's already going to miss some time, right, will play enough games. And Devin Booker has been hurt the last few years as well. So you're not going to see those big three. All right, let's move on to the Southwest. We're going to start off with the Memphis Grizzlies last season, 51-31. Second in rebounding overall in the NBA, second in blocks. The number one team when it came to field goal percentage against at 45.3. So they are very good defensively.
Yeah.
They add a big piece too as well, which we will talk about. Taylor Jenkins is their head coach, 179 and 130. Didn't have a first round draft pick. Obviously added our boy, Kenny's main man, Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
They did lose Dylan Brooks, but if you look at it, they're probably about the same kind of mentality. John Morant, 25 games suspended. They still have Desmond Bain and Jaren Jackson Jr. Thoughts on the Memphis Grizzlies? Kenny, you got them winning
Good,
it all,
Kenny.
Kenny. There it is. And we start.
I do not. I do
You
not.
do not
I do
this
that.
year.
I do that. No, I do not. I do not.
Kenny, what do you think?
What do I think?
With the addition of Marcus Smart.
Back-to-back 50 win seasons. The only thing I'm concerned about is how they gel together. Like you said, they lost Dylan Brooks, two-time defensive. He's a defensive stopper. He's really good on defense. They locked up Bain, which was outstanding. That was a good smart for them. They lost Steven Adams. He's out for the
It
season.
was smart.
It was
Yeah, I knew you.
yeah.
Very good. Very
And
good.
they lost Steven Adams.
Steven Adams for the year,
Yeah, for the year.
which is a big loss.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
defensively, I mean, listen, you lose Brooks. To me, a Smart fill that void. Adams, I don't know if they can fill it.
No.
That is a big loss.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that may be the reason why they don't go as far as they possibly could have, because you don't replace.
I think they're in the right division though.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if you're gonna have problems at the beginning of the season without having John Morant, it's good that you're in this division, because if you were in the Phoenix division, then you would be in last place.
Yeah. They added as well Derrick Rose, kind of quiet
Yeah.
there, right? But
Yeah.
some veteran leadership.
Right.
I mean,
And they can give you. He
And
can give you some
Junior's on
minutes,
this
right?
team.
I mean, look, I mean, he
Eddie
was
Lofton Jr.,
one of those guys that was just so promising and just
baseball player.
got derailed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Can he figure it out? Do some of these guys as a Marcus Smart, maybe take him under his wing, like, listen, kid, this is how you got to do it. You hope so. The kid's a talent. The kid is an
Yeah.
immense talent, and the sky's the limit. It's got to be though, but it's between here. And if he can figure that out, listen, this team can win. He can win a championship, but he has to make sure that he's doing the right things to stay on the court for his team.
right,
Yeah.
right, and I think that's ultimately why they got Marcus Smart, because, you know, say what you want about him, you know, flop and this and that, a chucker.
Well, there's no flopping this year.
But yeah, I
No
know.
rule.
But you get a guy like that. There's no substitute for something like that, and that's the one thing that I worry that the Celtics lost, is what he brings to the
Yeah,
table.
listen, that energy, right?
It's more than just his gameplay. It's more than that, and like I said, one of the best defensive players in the league.
All right, let's talk about another fun team here. The New Orleans Pelicans.
One more thing.
Oh.
One more thing.
My goodness.
Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yes, sir.
has to be the guy for that team. Has to be
Yeah.
the guy for that team until
Yep.
their point guard comes back.
Yeah, and we talk about listen, defensively, one of the best blockers in the league.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So he can
Yes.
definitely, you know what I mean? And now you add Smart, who's going to definitely help increase his productivity. I think, look, if they can get through these first 25 games
Yeah.
and at least be above water, to me, that they're in good shape to make a run. But it's going to matter what these 25 games bring, because where do you get
Yeah.
those additional 25 plus points a game that Ja would give you?
Right.
So New Orleans Pelicans, I'm throwing stuff now. 42-40 last season, coached by Willie Green. He's actually got a losing record with them, 78-86. Jordan Hawkins, their first round draft pick at number 14. They added Cody Zeller and EJ Little. Josh Richardson was their loss. Obviously have Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and I guess the biggest question mark, Zion Williamson.
Mm.
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 Healthy Zion.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, if he can play, they're a playoff team. If he doesn't play, it's going to be another rough season. I mean, it really comes down, and that's the same stories we hear throughout some of these teams that we're going to be talking about. It's those guys that never stay healthy, and they are affecting the landscape of the league.
Yeah.
And he's one of them because he's a beast out there when it comes to every aspect. I mean, I haven't seen a big guy that can handle themselves like that, and I don't know if ever. But you got to play. You got to play. And if you're not going to be on the court, you're really not doing the team any good.
Kenny looks like he's ready to blow up. Go ahead, buddy. Here comes a Kenny rant.
Do you know how many games he played last year?
I believe it was single digits, wasn't it?
40? No. I mean, he had to be for all their
20,
wins,
wasn't it
right?
like 20?
29 games.
Yeah, it's terrible.
29 games. He's only played 61 games one season. Okay? One season.
Which isn't still a full season if you think it's 82 games in a season. So.
Exactly. So he has to step up. He has to stay healthy. Don't get me wrong, he's a beast, but he has to stay healthy and he has to play.
Well, let me ask you this. Doesn't his new contract kick in now, that 5-year, whatever it was, $200 million deal?
Yep.
So is there really an incentive for him to play?
Yep.
It's actually worse. He was making less before. He's making more money now. He concerns me. And then they got a lot of nice young, like, or not even young, but like guys that, Trey Murphy, Larry Nance Jr. Like they've got some guys, but you can't tell me this team is built around Zion, right? Zion's the key. Brandon Ingram is a very nice player. And I'm not discrediting what he can do. But without Zion, this is an average team.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, because like when Zion is in there, he has an impact like it was Shaquille O'Neal, right? He has that impact. Like you're just dominant in your position.
Okay.
I'm just saying he's got that
that persona about him.
Aura, right? So when you're in there, it seems like the team plays so much bigger than what they are. But when he's not in the lineup, oh my God, it's a mess. It's just they get massacred, basically.
Yeah. I ain't gonna tell his business, but he needs his money. Okay.
Isn't he a porn star? Or he was with a porn star. There was a whole thing where he got. Is he still with her?
I think so. Yeah.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, and his dad got in. And his dad got in a little trouble.
His dad too.
Yeah, his dad got in a little trouble. Little trouble.
Ron, if you want to, put up the point. No, do not do
that. Hey.
We're not that kind of show.
No, we're not.
Anything else on the Pelicans, Kenny, before I move on? Good to go. No, Zion, the key. One of Ron's like semi-favorite teams. He's like the closet Dallas Mavericks fan. 38-44 last season.
I gotta admit it, yeah.
Jason Kidd, their head coach, 90-74 overall. They drafted Derek Lovely the second at number 12.
Such a lovely player.
Secondly, yeah. Very good additions here. Seth Curry, Grant Williams, Dante Exum. And I thought this was an interesting one because here's a kid now that had some potential. And we think about who's his head coach, one of the best point guards to do it. Maybe can get this kid now to figure some things out. Hopefully. They did lose Christian Woods and Davis Bertans. Obviously, the star here, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Tim Hardaway Jr. It didn't work last season with the two big stars, Kyrie and Doncic. Do they figure it out this season, guys? Because, again, the time's ticking.
It's interesting because, they had a chance to really say, okay, we're going to trade away Irving, right? They could have traded him. But they decided to keep him. And the only way that you could think of that why they kept him is maybe they brought them both in and had a nice long conversation, and maybe there might be some way that they can work together. That's the only way this works. It's the only way. Irving has to sacrifice something. And if he doesn't sacrifice, then it is going to be a long, long year.
Ron, I need you to do it. Can you pull the cap up just a little bit on your hat for a second? Okay, Kenny, I want you to watch this because watch the vein that I'm about to pop right here when I say this. There are people out there saying that Kyrie is the best player on this team. Would you say this team will run as far as Kyrie takes them?
No. I will say
he wants to go
that
into it.
Kyrie has to share the ball. He has to share the ball. I know Doncic can do that. I know he can do that. But can Kyrie share the ball? That is the only way it's going to work if he can share. You know, if he has this massive ego going into the season, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Okay.
Doncic is a great basketball player. And the sad part is I do think that Irving is a better all-around player.
Neither one of them, though. If you look at Doncic, how many seasons has he come in out of shape or not ready to play early in the season?
I don't know if that matters.
But I think it does because how committed is he as well? We sit back and we look at the highlight reels.
He's a good guy,
Yeah, but I'm saying you look at the highlight reels. Kyrie Irving, best handle in basketball. Kenny, I know you wouldn't disagree with me on that. By far, Kyrie Irving, best handle in basketball.
Right.
What's Kyrie's problem? He gets a little, off kilter, doesn't want to play, doesn't want to do his thing.
Yeah.
Doncic, it's not a big deal. It's an 82-game season. Maybe by game 15 or 20, I'll be in shape, ready to go. Your team's now, 2-13 because you're not ready to go, and now you got yourself in a giant hole that you can't get out of. The question
The
would be
problem I have with this team is, in fact, the team. This is that last game on purpose.
shot everybody, right? If they
Set
won, they would have got in.
everyone just to get a draft pick, right?
Agreed. Right. So the whole
I don't like
mentality in
that.
that whole organization right now is it's
Right.
not that important. And I don't know, can
Right.
we get these two guys to agree that it's important? That's going to be the key.
Well,
What do you
That's
think
what
about
we're
the
going to
Mavericks?
find out,
Kenny?
right?
Your thoughts on the
I
Mavericks?
think
First,
I think
okay. Go ahead, Ron.
when you have the 1-2 punch of Doncic and Irving, you would think that you would dominate the league.
Go ahead, Ken.
They can be the best backcourt this year. Them two.
Yeah.
But where in the heck is Dwight Powell? Where's Dwight Powell? He has to step up at being center. But these two can be the best backcourt this season.
And I will say, very sneaky. Seth Curry.
Woo.
He adds an element that he's a very good three-point shooter. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not his brother, but he's pretty good. And I think that may help them too, because at the end of the day, it spreads the floor out more.
Yep.
All right.
And don't forget, Grant Williams could bring in that attitude that you need.
Oh, and you didn't even talk about his boy. Go ahead, Kenny. I know that's where you want to go.
Wait. Don't disrespect the Curry name.
Oh,
Because if you know, he is second in 3-point percentage. His brother's first. He is second.
I just said that he's not his brother, but he's good. Hold on, Kenny. I will ask you that. Who did you say they needs to step up?
Dwight Powell. Yep, Dwight
Yeah.
Powell.
They don't need Powell. You know why?
Who?
Got Grant Williams, baby.
Oh yeah, that's
What are
right.
you talking about? Grant Williams,
That's right.
Eastern Conference champion. Grant Williams, the experience, the playoff experience, what he can bring to that team.
I
Defense,
forgot all about
defense.
Right?
Yeah.
He's still.
Yep.
We complained about Grant Williams, but you
Yep.
talk about sometimes in
Woo.
certain games the spark.
Yes.
We talk about it with Marcus.
Yes.
When those
Yep.
two guys were sometimes on the court for Boston, and the energy, the defense can make some
Yeah.
big offensive plays. Let's not forget Grant Williams here.
You're right. You're right.
no.
You're right.
And they could have brought him in to maybe get Doncic to get a little
Yeah,
excited.
we'll see. We'll see.
You never know.
This seems like a Boston reunion in this division. Because we're going to talk about the Houston Rockets, 22-60 last season. Now coached by Ime Udoka. So again, former Boston Celtic coach. So you think about it, Grant Williams on Dallas. You got Marcus Smart on Memphis. Now you got Ime Udoka as the head coach of the Rockets. They had a very nice draft. Amen Thompson at 4 and Cam Whitmore at 20. Amen. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Added Dylan Brooks, Jeff Green, Fred VanVleet. They did lose Kenyon Martin Jr., but Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., they're two guys that they're trying to build around. I like the additions here. I love the coach because I think he's going to teach them to play defense. They were one of the worst defensive teams in the league last year, 118.6 points allowed per game last season. He will figure that part out. Do they have enough talent to at least maybe break even this season, a 500 team? Nope.
No, Ron.
Move on, Kenny. Come on, Kenny, help me out.
No, Ron. No, Ron.
I don't think it's enough.
No?
I don't think it's enough.
Come on.
I mean, the fact that Dallas, Memphis, and New Orleans are in there, I don't think that they can do it. And San Antonio could be improved as well.
Yeah, who we're going to talk about next. What about Victor Oladipo, if he can come back? I mean, he's injured now, but maybe that's another player. I mean, they've got some nice young players here.
That's
and you
just
think
it.
about
It's
what
nice.
Ime Udoka could do, though. He got the young guys
I
to
know.
play better.
That's the factor. That's the factor.
Right? And Fred VanVleet, let's not sleep on him. He's a very good player. He didn't get enough credit in Toronto. I like that addition because that gives him a veteran guy that knows how to win.
Toronto has a team?
Yeah.
Ooh. So no postcard.
No,
I mean, no Christmas cards
not
from
at all.
Toronto.
Not at all. So, Kenny, you think Ime Udoka key here for Houston?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yes.
Yeah. And that pickup, Jeff Green. That was a key pickup, Jeff Green.
Yeah,
Right?
that's pretty
Another
good.
guy, veteran guy that can. He's played for so many teams.
Just came off a championship.
Yeah. No, very good point. Very good point. Very good point. Is he still
Yeah,
gay?
they got him.
Is
Of course,
he done
wasn't expensive
with him and Nia Long?
I don't know.
Ime, they still together?
I don't think so. I don't
No?
talk about it.
So you got a shot? Kenny, you got a shot. You're in, Ken. Big
might
dog.
I might be.
gotta look.
I might be.
Anybody knows Nia Long? Let's get her. Kenny just wants to say hi. That's all he
That's
wants.
just hi. That's all.
That's all he wants.
Maybe we can, go to Celtic games. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there you go. Oh, imagine that.
Say,
Her
"Woo,
saying
man."
courtside at the Celtic game now.
What? Like, yeah.
ain't supporting Houston.
Yeah, right.
Ain't about the Rockets. What about the big dog? The
Right.
big dog. What else you got for the Rockets, Kenny?
And I just want to say,
I threw him all off now because he's thinking about nothing. Look at him.
They added a key piece to their assistant coaching, the assistant staff. Tiago Splitter.
And scene. All right.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about those San Antonio Spurs, Ron. And I like what you said, right? Because I think they are very much improved. 22-60 last year. Again, we talk about points against 123.1. I think they picked up a player that might be able to help them defensively.
Just a little bit.
Fifth overall in assists. Greg Popovich is their coach. And keep this in mind because, gentlemen, with the do you know, it has a Greg Popovich kind of vibe to it. But Pop, 1,366 wins, 761 losses in his career. Think about it. That's insane. Victor Wembanyama could be the next big star in the NBA at number 1. They did add also Reggie Bullock and Seti Osman. We remember Seti back in the Celtic day as well. So another former Celtic in that division.
Yep.
They did lose Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell. Can Wembanyama bring back that lore of the Spurs back in the day? Robinson, big man. Duncan, big man. Now you get Wembanyama. Can he have that same impact and be the guy that carries the Spurs back to a championship?
Well, I like the fact that he can really play anywhere. He's a big.
It's just weird though. It's awkward to see a guy that big do some of the things he
It
tried.
is awkward.
Right? It just looks funny. But
it's going to be tough because to me, he doesn't have that NBA size. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you have the height, but you don't have that size. You don't have that girth
It's his length,
to
though.
be. You can't. He's not going to be able to drive with effectiveness.
But his length, I think, is going to be the key because he can shoot over guys. You saw them when they're trying to take threes. He can just jump in and make it difficult. And again, he's got the right coach because this guy's coached some of the best big men in the league.
Yeah, what's gonna be difficult is playing him defensively because you can't put a big guy on him because he's going to be too fast and he's going to eat him up on the outside.
Yeah.
And you can't put somebody small because then he won't even have to jump. So good luck trying to figure that out. You might have to double him because if you double him, then you kind of leave somebody open, but I don't think anybody else is going to be dangerous enough to make a difference in a game.
I think Kenny's going to disagree because McDermott, baby. This
Dougie.
is
Dougie Fresh, baby. Dougie Fresh. Out of the 14 players on the Spurs, all of them are 25 and younger.
Wow.
So it's going to take a little time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's going to take a little time. The key person that I have stepping up is Zach Collins.
Yeah.
He averaged 11 points per game, but he has to step up. He's only 25. He got a lot of time. He needs to step up.
Yeah. And again, can Wembanyama, fill that body soon enough to be? I think the problem with that would be, Ron, though, too. Some of the things he tries to do, I don't think he could do if he was physically bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
So he may have to stay in this range. Will it ultimately affect him?
He doesn't have to get bigger. Yeah. He needs to get stronger.
But we saw this, right, with Chet Holmgren, who we'll talk about as well, right? But that lengthy body and then it broke down very quickly last season. Yeah. I'm not saying Wembanyama is the same, but you look at the build. The build itself, it reminds you a lot of that.
Yep.
All right, my friends, we are done. Any predictions on who wins that division?
I got Dallas.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got the Mavs too.
Ooh, okay.
I got the Mavs too.
I'm gonna stick
with. If you want to be specific, I'll run them all down.
No.
Dallas,
no. We don't.
New Orleans, Houston, San Antonio.
All right. I am going out on a limb. I'm gonna say Memphis still gets it done.
Ooh, okay.
Memphis still gets it done.
All right.
I don't trust the mentality in Dallas. And until I see it, I don't believe it. I believe in the talent. I don't believe in the mentality.
Okay. All right.
They don't care about winning. They don't care about winning.
I respect that.
All right. We're on to the Northwest. We're going to talk about the defending champions, Denver Nuggets, 53-29 last season. Best shooting team in the league at 50.4% last year. Fourth in three-pointers, second overall in assists. Mike Malone has turned into a magnificent coach, 367 and 270 in his career with Denver. They didn't have a first-round pick. They did lose a big piece in Bruce Brown, who in the playoffs was extremely important for them. Jeff Green as well. Obviously, they got the Joker, Nikolai Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Michael Porter Jr., who stayed healthy for a whole season, and you got to see what happens when that, comes to fruition. Can they repeat, gentlemen? That is the key. Can they repeat, or are they now maybe a little less hungry because they won it?
I don't buy that. Not with this team. Not the way they did it. I just think, look, Jokic just goes about his business and just does his job, right? He doesn't seem like anybody that's going to be content. He just does it quietly and lets the points and all the other stuff rack up. And by the time the game is over, you don't even know what happened.
Yeah, very quiet, right? Always triple double. What? I didn't even see it.
Yeah, right. How did that happen? And it sneaks up on you. And and to me, that's what this team is all about. They're not about flash. They're not about, the ego. And this is what they do. And they lost, they lost a couple of players, but it's a team that could just say, okay, at trade deadline, we're going to go get this guy because he's going to be available. And how would you not want to pick up a guy like Kawhi, maybe?
Oof, I don't think that happened.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. I'm not saying it's going to be him. I'm saying there's some guys out there on some bad teams that could end up in Denver.
Kenny,
Just saying.
your thoughts on the Nuggets?
They are not running it back. They lost 2 guys that were 6 and 7 in playoff minutes. Okay, so they are not running it back. They'll be in the playoffs, but they're not running it back.
Yeah, listen, and then we were waiting for Aaron Gordon to be back to right, and he was last season. Does that mean he gets back-to-back seasons like that? They had a lot of things go right. Porter Jr. hadn't been healthy. He stayed healthy. Jamal Murray finally got back from his injury and was able to, be that guy. Jokic is going to be Jokic. The man's going to dominate. He's an MVP for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if some of the other key guys can do what they did again. He can. We've seen him do it year after year after year. That last year was the first time we saw all these guys kind of stay healthy, put it all together. I don't know if they do it again. I'm kind of leaning towards what Kenny's saying. And they lost again 2 big guys in the playoffs. Those guys were tough in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They may not have scored a lot, but they made big plays when it mattered, gave them big minutes. So again, how do you replace that?
I look at it this way. You've got Minnesota, Portland, OKC, and Utah in your division.
Yeah.
You are winning this division. You're winning the division.
You get to the
So
playoffs.
now it's all about making sure you're healthy when you get to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So at trade deadline, this team is going to be shopping for somebody. And they're probably going to be shopping for somebody like a Green to put in there in the minutes that he needs. And that's what they're going to be looking for. So they're going to pull the trigger on something. They don't care if they give up their first round pick next year. If they can get that piece that puts them over the top. And if you have guys like Gordon and Murray and Porter, if they can be healthy again, you can contend. This team can go back.
Okay.
And like I said, it's going to go back to the playoffs. It's just a matter of can they withstand the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Kenny.
Peyton Watson, their 30th pick last year, they have to start using him. They know they can trust Christian Braun, but can they trust him? He needs some minutes so he can get in that rotation and maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, it's very hard to repeat anytime in any sport.
It is. And that's why they got to see guys like from Peyton Watson, and other guys on that roster to see where they are. And then they're going to judge on what they need at the trade deadline.
So next team we're going to talk about, kind of disappointing because when we saw it all coming together last season, we really thought like this was going to be the team. And Minnesota Timberwolves, right?
My pick.
42 and 40. Again, they were actually dead even on points for and points against at 115.8. So they basically broke even. They were 3rd overall in field goal percentage and 4th in blocks. Chris Finch is their head coach, 104 and 101. Didn't have a first-round draft pick. Lost Austin Rivers, Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards who has started to become that guy that we expect to be a big star.
Yes.
When you say those names, it's like, how did they not make a playoff push?
I think it's Gobert. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I just think he slowed them down. Because offensively, they used to be a team that would just run it and gun it and kind of put up points. And then it's like you start to look at it, you have to slow down your offense for Gobert.
Yeah.
He's not that guy. And I think that hurt him a little bit. How do they maybe, re-energize their offense differently this season to say, hey, we got to do something different to kind of make this fit? Anthony Edwards is going to be the key because this is a kid now that could average 30 points a game.
Yep.
He can. The key is Willie.
Well, you got to have the speed, alongside of these guys that are doing it. And if Gobert isn't getting the job done like you expect because he can't keep up, then maybe you got to go smaller. You have to get good play from guys like Conley and McLaughlin and Daniels. They have to step up. They gotta make their game fit with the other stars on this team, like Towns. You have to fit that game.
A big cat.
And just have Gobert come off the bench if you have to.
I like that.
All right.
Oh.
Let's talk. Oh, go ahead, Kenny.
Also adding Shake Milton and Troy Brown Jr. Is a very, very, very key part. Very key part. But
you got to build that bench.
Jaden McDaniels, 6'9". He has to come up.
I didn't realize they picked up Luka Garza.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not, I think, a two-way player, so he's probably going to be on there. But he was one. You think about what he did in the NCAAs for Iowa. I mean, that's an interesting pickup there that maybe at some point he makes his way up. All right, let's talk about the OKC Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder, 40 and 42 last season, fifth overall in points, 117.5 points per game.
This team makes me giddy.
Makes you giddy. Very good. Josh Giddey. Very good.
Giddey. Very good.
Mark Denault, their head coach, 86 and 150. Cason Wallace was their number one draft pick in the first round at number 10. They lost Kevin Porter Jr., that whole mess and whatever he did, but they did add Victor Oladipo and Davis Bertans, Shea Gillis Alexander turning into a star. Josh Giddey makes Ron Giddey. And then the return of Chet Holmgren. The pieces starting to come together. Do you see they have a star now in Gillis Alexander? Josh Giddey has been very good for this team. How important is Chet Holmgren to the success of this team making the playoffs?
Well,
again,
if he can, stay on the court for one, that's a good thing. That's a start right there. I mean, anything he can add is a bonus. And look, I like the improvements. I do like the improvements. Hopefully Holmgren isn't just going to be injured every year. Are you going to get a potential star, or are you going to get a Sean Bradley?
Yeah. James, thanks for joining. Yes, breaking down some NBA. And Sean Bradley was okay.
Right.
He wasn't great, but he was okay. He was okay. I didn't say he was okay. You want to look up his numbers, Kenny? I'll look him up.
Could you imagine if he was in Oklahoma City? He'd be OKC.
Boy, I don't know what you were thinking. Didn't Sean Bradley pass away recently? I think he did.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
No. If he did, that would make me feel horrible.
Yeah. No, it wasn't him. Wasn't it somebody else who died recently?
Is it Milton Bradley?
Milton Bradley.
Milton Bradley, the toy company. I'm sure they died too.
He's German. He averaged 8.1 points, 6.3 rebounds per game. That's not bad.
That's terrible at his height.
But I'm just saying, it wasn't horrible. You think about it, he could have been.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
And he averaged 2.5 blocks per game.
That height? Are you kidding?
2.5 blocks per game. 2.5 blocks per game. That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Great.
Anyway, OKC, I think they get back to the playoffs. I agree. Let's talk about Kenny's. You got to give me a better signal then, man. I'm trying to move and you're going back. Let's go back.
If he stays healthy, Holmgren, rookie of the year.
Does he?
Wait, he can't be a rookie.
Don't forget he didn't play a single game last year.
They did that before.
Yeah, but is he still?
Yeah, they did that before because
Yes.
technically he didn't play,
Yes.
so they wipe out his first year, which is kind of garbage.
It is garbage.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year either.
I think Wembanyama might have something to say.
Yeah, I
about
think
that.
so too.
I got a feeling. Utah Jazz, my friends, 37-45 overall last season. fifth in total rebounds, 45.9. So they were a very good rebounding team. Coached by Will Hardy, former Celtic assistant there as well. Taylor Hendricks at 9 and Kenyette George at 16 were their draft picks. They did add John Collins. They do have Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, Laurie Markkinen. They got some players here, and I was like,
oh, and they have the All-Star center, Kelly Olynyk.
Don't. Poor Kelly. He was good. You want me to look at his numbers too while you start talking trash? Go ahead. Bye.
I'm just saying.
No, go ahead. You guys.
I like Kelly Olynyk.
Let's talk about these Utah Jazz.
Well, they have Markkinen.
10.3 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists in his career.
Nasty.
That's a
Kelly
good.
Olynyk, not bad.
Not bad.
No, that's good.
Not bad. Not bad. I mean, Danny Ainge, obviously, captain draft pick. He's got like $8 million now. He's trying to do what he did with Boston. You get lucky, you get like a Jason Tatum. At some point, it falls to you in your lap. Do they have enough pieces on this team to maybe make a playoff push?
No.
Kenny, you say no, but you had them
No.
on your top 5 NBA rankings early in the year. They started off really hot last season.
Yeah.
Do they figure some things out and maybe win a few more games? They're 8 games from 500.
They've been losing guys left and right, since then. And no, this is not a good team. This is a team designed to come in last place, getting that top pick, and let's see who we get. Maybe LeBron's son. And then you add LeBron.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I like the John Collins pickup.
Hey, me too.
I think listen, that he's a very good player. Jordan Clarkson started to show some good signs of being a quality player as well. So I don't think you're giving them enough credit because I think they're building the right pieces. And Markkinen is a very good player.
Yeah.
He is.
Right. So they've got a guy that can be the star. They've got a couple of good role player guys that can help them. And I think they might be okay. I think they could make the playoffs. I'm not saying they will, but I think they
anytime
could.
you have a Kelly and a Clarkson, you got to be doing something right.
Yeah, if you're on American Idol.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong game.
I don't
wrong
know. I don't
show,
watch
right?
that stuff.
Oh.
You know what I watch, Ron? I watch sports, my friend.
Sports,
like the Schwartz.
Sports.
Like the
May the
Schwartz.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Yes.
Do you watch this show when it's over?
Do I watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course I do. It helps me go to sleep. Especially, your voice is so soothing, Ron. It just puts me right to bed. Mellows me right out. Out like a light. Portland Trailblazers, my friends. We talk about a team that's kind of in flux right now and what they're trying to do. 33-49 last season. Chauncey Billups, their head coach, 60-104 so far in his career. Not doing so well. Scoot Henderson, 3rd overall pick. A lot of high hopes. He is the Dame Lillard replacement, according to what we're hearing. I like some of the additions. DeAndre Ayton, Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams III. They have Jeremy Grant, Anthony Simmons. If Scoot Henderson even is decent this season, let's say a 12 to 15 point guy, maybe in that range, does this team make a little bit of noise? I don't think they're playoff bound.
No.
But Ayton kind of secures them as for a big man. Brogdon with the experience. Rob Williams, again, injury concerns, but if he stays healthy defensively, what he brings to them, nothing with this team that interests you at all? Either one of you?
Look, I got them finishing 3rd. I think they're going to be a pretty decent team. The problem is they don't have the guy, and so they'll hang around in a lot of games, and some of them they'll squeak out, and some of them they won't, and then they're gonna head into like teams that have like an all-star caliber squad, and they're gonna get run out of the building against those.
You know what?
guys.
I was thinking about this while I was doing the research the other day, and I knew that was going to be like kind of where we went with this team. But then I thought about it. What did they win with Dame Lillard?
Nothing.
Right? So they had the guy, and it didn't
Right.
help them. So maybe just getting a lot of nice pieces. If Chauncey, who's we know a very good defensive-minded coach, like that's what his strength was when he played. If he can get this team to at least say, hey, look, instead of giving up 117.4 points per game, if we can only give up the 113 that we score, guess what? That may push us to 500.
Right.
Right. And they've got guys that want to play defense. Rob Williams, Ayton, right? These guys want to play defense. I think they've got some good pieces. This trade that moved Damian Lillard may have helped this team finally start to figure out an identity. Because before, all they were doing was, it's Dame time, and we just going to let him do his thing.
Right. So he does everything, and you want a team that knows how to play before you go get that big guy, right? And watch the way Portland can play. They could push Minnesota out of their spot.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it.
Shade,
Kenny, what do you got?
Shade Sharp is freakishly athletic. He's good in the paint, and he shot 36% from 3 last year. He's a key part.
Listen, they get enough of these guys to your point, Kenny, just step up a little bit. Yeah. So who wins this division? Is it still the Nuggets?
I have Denver, of course.
The Nuggets, right?
Yeah, Nuggets.
I don't think it's going to be as easy, though, this season. I think there's some teams, to your point.
I think it is. I think it's going to be easy. Denver is definitely way better. And then I have Minnesota, Portland, OKC, and Utah rounding out the rest of the way. I don't think this division has enough to topple Denver by no means. Okay. There's no they can't contend with Denver.
All right. We're done with the Western Conference. We're going to move on to the Eastern Conference. Before that, let's have a little fun with a do you know, gentlemen. Do you know? Okay. Greg Popovich is the all-time winningest coach in the NBA with 1,362 wins. Do you know who the next 5 coaches are?
Next
5. So I don't want to count Pop. 5 coaches. You can throw out names and I will check them off. Coaches. If you each want to name off 5 coaches or just give me some names and we'll see if you get any of them.
Lenny Wilkins.
Well, it's going to be Phil.
All right, Kenny.
It's got to be Phil in there.
Phil, okay.
Phil Jackson, yeah.
Okay.
What about Red?
Okay, Red. All right. Any others you want to give you the list?
What's the dude from Miami there? The Spoelstra.
Eric Spoelstra?
No.
Spoelstra, yeah.
No.
You going Spoelstra? You want Spoelstra?
I'm going Spoelstra.
Okay.
No, I'm not going Spoelstra.
Okay. Kenny, any other guesses?
Oh, I know this too.
And what's his face? The dude from Golden State. I can't think of his name.
Steve Kerr?
Yeah, Kerr.
You want to go Kerr? Okay.
I'm going to go Kerr.
All right. No. Kenny, anybody else?
Oh, I'm thinking. I can't even think.
Okay. All right. At number 6, you guys are way off, by the way. Kenny only got one of them.
I only got one of them?
Yes. Kerr, Spoelstra, Red, Auerbach are not in there.
Yeah, I knew that.
Phil Jackson, believe it or not, number 7.
Number 7? Wow.
So you just missed on Phil Jackson. Wow. At number 6, George Karl.
Oh,
Onyx, Denver Nuggets, right? He had some of those really good runs.
Yeah.
You almost got one right, Ron, if you thought your mentality changed a little bit. Not Spoelstra, but at number 5, Pat Riley at 5.
Oh, man.
Okay. At 4, one of the best point guard, power forward combos in the history of the NBA, Kenny. Who was it?
Serious? Oh my god.
Who was it? All-time assist leader.
I don't know. Doc
John
Rivers needs to
Stockton?
be there. Maybe.
John Stockton.
Yeah.
Karl Malone. We're coached by Jerry Sloan.
Sloan.
1,221 wins.
Jerry Sloan.
Kenny got number 3 right. Lenny Wilkins at 1,332. At number 2
Yeah.
all time, Don Nelson, 1,335 wins.
Golden
Second all
State.
time in NBA wins.
Golden
Isn't that
State.
crazy to think about?
Golden State.
Right? All those great years. All right. One more question before we move on to the Eastern Conference. So we see if we had a little fun with this one. Which active NBA coach has more losses than Popovich? So Greg Popovich has 758 losses in his career. There is an active coach currently in the NBA that has more losses.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I know this. Oh.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Any guesses, gentlemen?
Oh my gosh.
Before we move on to the Southeast Conference.
Yeah, I can't think of. I right now I'm like I
All
can't
right.
think of names. Period.
Dallas Mavericks, Indiana Pacers,
Oh.
Rick Carlisle,
Carlisle.
785 losses,
Oh, I knew it. I knew it was Rick.
right? What's 27 more losses than Craig Popovich and a lot less games.
All I could think of was Belinda.
Belinda Carlisle. Good job. Good job.
Ha, yes.
All right, Southeast Conference. We're on to the Eastern Conference, the Southeast Division. We're going to start off with the Atlanta Hawks, 41-41 last season. Third overall in points at 118.4 points. Third in free throws, 81.8. Quinn Snyder came over. You remember late. They had fired Nate McMillan. So we are in a obviously first season, if you really want to count it for Quinn Snyder. Kobe Buffkin was their first round pick at number 15. They added Patty
Kobe.
Mills and Wesley Matthews, lost John Collins and Rudy Gay, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, and Clint Capella. Obviously, they're big stars. This has been a team that's kind of disappointed. So what do they need?
A heart. They need a heart. Seriously, like
Yeah.
there's no excuse really. Like they have the players that should be able to go deep into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
They can barely scrape by to get in.
Yeah.
Like this team needs a heart transfusion desperately because I don't know why they don't win. I don't know why. Like you have so much talent on this team and they don't do anything with it. Nothing. It's probably the biggest disappointment in the NBA in recent times.
Trae Young, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
thought that was it. Ice Trae. We're like, this is going to be the guy that the year the Knicks and they upset him in the playoffs, and we're like, wow, we got a star. And he's just kind of quietly, it's not happened. Kenny, what changes or does it change? Or are they a 500 team? Is that what they are?
Yeah, they're a 500 team. They have a lot of shooting, but they lack defense. DeAndre Hunter
Mm-hmm.
has to be that guy. Has to be that guy.
Yeah.
That steps up.
Yeah. Yeah. We thought when they picked up Murray, we said, what a big move that was, right? San Antonio. And it just didn't materialize. We'll see. All right. Miami Heat, defending Eastern Conference champions, 44-38 last season. They were second overall in points against at 109.8. Second overall in free throws, 83.1. Eric Spoelstra, 704 wins, 491 losses. So he's got a ways to go. Jamie Jaquez Jr., 18th overall, was their first round draft pick. They did add Josh Richardson. Lost. This is a big loss for them. Max Strus, I thought it was a big loss. It kind of quietly under the radar. Victor Oladipo, again, was hurt all the time. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, obviously they're three big stars. Can this team make another run? Can they get back to the finals? Do we believe in the Heat? I guess.
This team always finds a way. Always finds a way. I don't know what it is, but they always find a way.
Yeah, like you starting right, Kevin Love, but again, a lot of these guys past their prime now.
Yeah.
Josh Richardson, again, wasn't what we thought he would be. He hasn't really materialized. Tyler Hero, to me, is maybe the key in this. Can he stay healthy and take another step forward? But to me, Jimmy Butler is not. And it's going to sound disrespectful, Kenny, but I don't think he's as good as people think he is. I think he steps up in the playoffs for some reason. That thing we call heart run that you always talk about in the playoffs, his is massive.
Yeah,
he just goes crazy in the playoffs. During the regular season, here's a guy. I'm like, he's okay. He's an average to. No, he's a good player. He's not a great player.
Look, Miami basically snuck up on everybody last year.
Yeah.
I truly believe this because I don't think that this team is a contender. And I know they went to the championship last year, but they caught everybody sleeping, Milwaukee and Boston. And, like you said, Butler he's got the biggest heart in the league, the biggest one. If I'm a team at trade deadline, that's the guy that I'd like to trade for because he could be a difference maker in the playoffs.
But there's a reason why he loses every year in the playoffs. And I don't know if it's the quality of players around him or if he gets to a point. He always, and correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, there's some point in a playoff where he gets hurt. Something happens where Jimmy Butler gets hurt.
Yeah.
It just seems like it rolls an ankle. Something and you're going, okay. And then next thing you know, they lose the series because Jimmy Butler's not 100%. I don't know. Keep an eye out for it.
All right.
Anything else on the Heat?
One more thing. Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, last year of the contract. Is this the last year of Kevin Love? We see Kevin Love. He's going to retire.
I don't think anybody else would pick him up again.
Think so?
I mean, what did he really contribute last year?
There's going to be some people that might trade for him.
Minnesota, he was a beast. He was a double king.
Yeah, but you're talking about how many years ago?
Yeah, how many years ago? You're right. Yeah.
What do you last season? I don't even have last season on here. Hold on.
Not. And also, go ahead.
Last season for the Heat, he averaged 7.7 points and 5.7 rebounds in 21 games.
21 games, yeah. So
again, he's on the very back end of his career.
Yeah.
So this might be the last we see of Kevin.
Also Nikola.
Yeah.
Nikola, look for him.
Yeah. Listen, again, the one benefit they have, and we've talked about it with New England, with the Patriots sometimes, and Bill Belichick, right? They got a coach that knows how to coach.
Yeah, true.
So that sometimes eliminates some of the deficiencies of not having the great players. Washington Wizards, new look Washington Wizards. No Bradley Beal, right? They were 35-47 last year. Wes Unseld Jr. is their head coach. Bilal Coulibaly, first-round draft pick at number 7. Added Jordan Poole, Deno Gallinari, and Laundry Shamet. Lost, obviously, Bradley Beal. Chris Paul, because he was there for like a minute and then moved. And Kristaps Porzingis. They have A-star in Kyle Kuzma. Can Jordan Poole be the number 2 here? Or was it, again, a result of the system he was in with Golden State?
Yeah, I think this team is going to really be bad. I'm not like you see some pieces there, but are they starters even? Maybe Kuzma might be probably the the guy right now, Gallinari can probably add something to that. But if they're both playing the same position, you know what I'm saying?
no,
I mean, this is a team that's not going to do well.
Yeah. Mike Muscala came over in that deal with Boston as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a struggle, for them. I don't see a lot. And listen, one guy I like Kuzma. I think he's a very good player, and I think he's underrated. But Kenny, what do you got for the Wizards?
They will be really, really fun to watch. Kuzma, 21.1 points per game. Johnny Davis, 10th pick from last year. He has to get in there and make a statement.
All right.
Kuzma could be moved this year.
All right. Orlando Magic, 34-48 last year. Jamal Mosley is their head coach. They picked up Anthony Black at 6 and Jet Howard at 11 in the first round. They added to Joe Ingles.
Shooter.
Right?
Shooter in the house.
Bol they lost. I know that's your boy, Kenny. Bol. Paulo Banchero and Markelle Fultz. 2 big guys here for him. Banchero seems like the real deal. Looks like that kid's going to be a player.
Yes.
Who else steps up for this team to start make some kind of noise? Because you can only stay on the bottom for so long.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to stay on the bottom.
Okay.
With the demise of Washington, I think you would have to say that some of this talent is going to start panning out and getting some wins against, especially teams in their own division.
Yeah.
When you have to play Washington, Charlotte, and then a lackluster Atlanta, you're going to get some wins. Yeah. And, the talent will somehow rise, above the other teams that just don't have as much talent. And if you can get some good coaching and, maybe a little luck or two, if everybody stays healthy, I think you can start making something out of this game.
34-48. Yeah. They're only a game back Washington last year. And I think, to your point, right, they've improved more. Banchero, another year in the league now, right? Kind of knows the speed, everything else. It might...
what this reminds me of is a lot of what Sacramento has built, right? I mean, they're probably a year or two behind Sacramento's pace, right? So you might see this team step up, and you never know.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, he averaged 20 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 3.7 assists last year. Got to shoot better than 42%, though.
Yeah.
Right.
And 29.8 from 3. Yeah, his shooting.
Yeah, so
he improves his shooting.
Is what you're looking at, basically.
Yeah.
When are you putting up those shots? And if you're not working to get a better shot off, then that's what you got to work on.
Yeah.
And that's coaching, right? Your coach has to let you know what you're doing, so that way you can improve your game. So coaching in this case is going to be massive.
True. I agree. Also, they got Joe Ingles for shooting, but they need a big guy in the middle. Jonathan Isaac is not going to do it. He's played 11 games in 3 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the key too is Fultz.
Yeah.
Going to be able to put together another good season. We'll see.
Yeah. Key guys that are contracts coming up: Markelle Fultz, Wagner, Mac McClung.
Yeah, right. That poor guy.
Mac McClung.
Right, he wins the slam dunk contest.
Slam dunk champion.
They get rid of him, Philly. Not
crazy.
Good. Not good. Charlotte Hornets, gentlemen, 27-55 last year. Jordan sold just at the right time because I don't feel like they're moving in the right direction here.
Wow.
27-55. Steve Clifford came back to coach this team. Nick Smith Jr. at number 2. At number 29. And Brandon Miller at number 2. Were their draft picks. LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, okay players. Ball obviously is a player, but again, not much around him. They lost Oubre Jr. and Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah, but you know what? If you go out and you get an Avenger, you're gonna be okay.
There he goes. Go ahead.
They got Thor.
JT Thor. Yes. Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh,
I mean, you have a god on your team.
Yeah.
You got to use him.
yeah.
Is this the which Bridges brother is this? Is the one that got arrested?
Bo? It might
Miles
be Bo
Bridges, right? Isn't it Miles Bridges the one that? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So he's out, which again, so they
Oh
lose
my
him.
God.
yes.
You got Ball. What else do you got? Brandon Miller has to
Yeah,
be-
but they only have one ball. You have to have two. Just saying. And Eric, he's also a candidate for the body parts.
Yes, he is. Okay.
Just saying.
You know who's gonna step up? Leaky Black. Leaky Black. Who is that? From North Carolina. Look at these guys. Kenny,
This is a
tell
horrible
me about
team.
any of these guys. Is there anybody here?
This is a horrible
It's a
team.
horrible
Can
team.
we not
Horrible
talk
team.
about Charlotte anymore?
And Brandon Miller was the kid with the issues in college, correct?
Right.
Charlotte last place.
But he nasty. Brandon Miller is not. That's the steal of the draft right there. Brandon Miller. Oh, he nasty. He nasty.
Yeah, but
But let me tell you something.
go
The
ahead.
person who has to step up, PJ Washington. They just gave him 3 years, $48 million. $48 million. PJ. You better
Hey, what did Boston give Pritchard?
you better earn
so-
you better earn that money, PJ.
All right, in this
He's
we're going to the
that way.
Central. Milwaukee Bucks, right? They made some moves this offseason.
Wait, are we just saying who
Oh, do
won
you
that
want to win
division?
that division? Who won that division, my friends?
Miami.
All right. I thought that was pretty odd. You going Miami or Atlanta, Kenny?
Atlanta.
He's going Charlotte.
If you go Charlotte, we're throwing you off the show.
Yeah, I'll go Heat. I'll go Heat. It's
Going
too
Miami.
tough.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we are on to Milwaukee in the Central. The Bucks, some big moves this offseason as well. 58-24 last season. The best rebounding team in the league, second overall in field goal percentage against, 45.6. So very good defensively. Here's where it gets difficult, boys. Adrian Griffin, now their head coach. So you talk about somebody who hasn't had the experience. This may be a difference maker. They did add Damian Lillard and Cameron Payne, lost Grayson Allen, Drew Holiday, Joe Ingles, Wesley Matthews. We know about Antetokounmpo. We know about what he brings. Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton. You add Damian Lillard. This is the 1A, 1B type team in the East. Kind of them in Boston have been the teams that everybody's talking about. Do you agree?
Yeah, but the problem is that I think depth-wise, they hurt themselves. I think they shot themselves in the foot with this because you gave up 3 or 4 guys that can really chip in and do some scoring. You got back Lillard, but what if he doesn't stay healthy?
Which he hasn't.
You know?
But that's where I
And-
think the Cameron Payne thing was a big signing too, because that gives you a point guard.
Yes, it is. But is it going to be good in the playoffs when you have to play these teams? And now, look, I know it's going to be fine in the Eastern Conference, right? You have 2 teams that really are way above everybody else. But even if you make it to the finals, you're going to get run out of the building. You're going to get run out of the building because you don't have the depth there now. I mean, you just don't have it.
I don't know though.
You are banking on those 2 guys for the playoffs.
You still got Middleton. You got Jay Crowder off the bench. They picked up Robin Lopez, right? So again, you talk, and then I liked Cameron Payne. As I'm starting to look at this, and Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is that guy that
Yes.
we talk about as well, with the heart and the make the plays and step up. I'm starting to get a little nervous now. because I'm looking at Milwaukee and I'm going, if to your point, Dame's got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But if they do, they've got a very good squad. A very good squad. That is interesting. What do you want to say about the Bucks, Kenny?
There's an old saying: those who can't play, coach. That's number one. Number two, that pick and roll is
Adrian
going
Griffin.
to be. Thank you, Adrian Griffin. Thank you, Adrian Griffin.
Ron was a little confused.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adrian Griffin. Adrian Griffin. This pick and roll, it's going to be crazy. If they can perfect it like Stockton to Malone, you cannot stop it. Sure, give Giannis another weapon. It's going to be great. Yeah, sure. Chris Middleton has to step up. He's in his 12th season. 12th season. Okay. Made 3-time All-Star. Okay. All right. 15.1 points per game when he was in the lineup last year.
Yeah.
So
and when was that?
Yeah, exactly. So he has to stay healthy.
But again, if you look at it,
48.6%.
he's your third option.
Yeah.
That's pretty good now because before he was your 2.
Yeah.
So now you look at it and you say, Dame, Giannis, do your thing. Chris chipping your 15. Brooke Lopez, who is turned into a very good player.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? He's a double-double. Now you're looking at it and saying, wow, holy cow, this team's not bad at all. That's
I
about
didn't say it was
that's
bad.
about 80 points right there between the three of them.
Yeah.
And right, and then you add Brooke. There's another. This team. Oh, I don't know. I think we're underestimating what we could see. Again, health matters, though. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, and
every game, every team.
Look, they're gonna sail through the season. They're gonna sail through the season.
See, I don't know about that either because the next team I like as well, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. 51 and 31.
I like Cleveland as
right?
well.
Number 1 defensive team in the league last year, 106.9 points per game. 5th in shooting at 48.8. JB Biggerstaff doing a very good job of getting that team. They add Kenny, Max Strus.
Yeah.
So now they give themselves a legitimate shooter.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Darius Garland. They've got some guys. We're not even talking about LeVert. Just cool. But you know what I mean?
Cool.
They've got players. Evan Mobley. I like the makeup of this team. This is a very good team.
Me too. Me too.
And I think they could compete in this division.
You're right. They can. Like, I like the team. I think they have like all the pieces. I think they might need maybe one more piece, to contend. And they might understand that fact. And if they do understand that fact, they might make that trade at the deadline. That might be a team. Cleveland might be a bigger factor in this than what we are giving them credit for.
And you got to, are we all like just sitting back and saying what? That Donovan Mitchell could be the face of the NBA. Like he could be, like you're sitting there waiting and going, he has games where you go, holy cow, this kid is amazing. And then you have some games you go, okay, yeah, maybe not. If he can become that guy, a Dwayne Wade, where every night it was just, you knew what you were getting.
Oh my God. Oh,
right. And that's kind of who he was compared to, right? Is that D Wade?
That's royalty right there. Royalty.
Right. I think, listen, if he can do that this season with those pieces, I think they make a lot of noise in the East. Keep your eye out on Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I think on that team, what they need is that leader. And we said a lot about Marcus Smart with John Morant, right? You need a guy like that, Marcus Smart. Now, I don't think Smart is going there by any means. I think he's staying in Memphis. But they need a guy like that. And if they can get one of those guys that show leadership, I think that's going to make this team dangerous.
And that's where Evan Mobley comes in. That's where Evan Mobley
Right.
comes in. If he's going to do anything, he's got to speak loud and say, "Hey, I play defense. Y'all need to play defense."
Right. So we'll see how he brings to the table.
Right.
And that might be the key guy in the whole thing, because we know what you're going to get with all those other guys.
Yep.
Now, what can Mobley do to bring in more of that winning attitude, that it factor that you need to make Donovan play insane?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like you want that to be brought out in him.
Yep.
And so they don't need to go and get an all-star guy. They need to go and get that role player,
Yep.
that is just going to bring that energy and get Mobley to be that guy every minute.
Yeah. Great talk on the Cavs. We thought we'd ever be talking about them again.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Bulls, gentlemen, 40 and 42 last season. Third overall in field goal percentage, fifth in free throws. Billy Donovan, you think about what he's kind of 117 and 119 with the Bulls. Not what I think were expecting when they made him their head coach. They lost Pat Beverly. Do have Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikolai Vucic. What else does this team need? Because again, Ball obviously out for the year again, may never play again, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Talk about a loss that you may not be able to recover from.
You know what this team needs? Some good luck.
Yeah.
When you think about Rose, and now you're looking at this with Ball, you know what I'm saying? They've had some really tough luck with
You
their
also
star players.
had one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player, I know Kenny will disagree, in the history of the NBA. So that kind of, you had your run.
Balances out, right?
You had it, right? Like you had it. And now you may have, this may be the back end of it. Now you got to suffer for many years.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, you look at when the Celtics did the same thing, right? All those championships, and then all of a sudden it goes ice cold.
Yeah.
So this is what Chicago is going through. They're going through some issues with their main players, and it's really about the luck right now. And it's not it's the basketball gods making things even.
Pretty much. You remember we talked about Austin Reeves earlier?
Yes.
Alex Caruso, to me, was a better player, and the Lakers let him go. Defensively, what he brought, if you're talking about the spark, Caruso's one of those guys. Okay, Kenny, but go ahead. What do you got? What do you got for me? Talk to me about the Bulls. The Bulls.
DeMar DeRozan has to prove people wrong. So he has to prove people wrong, because for years it's he's an okay player. He needs to be a superstar if he's going to stay on the Bulls.
How old is he now at this point? You're asking a guy, he's got to be in his mid-30s.
Maybe.
Like how does he make that difference when it's got to be LaVine, no?
He just reminds me of Chris Bosh. He does a lot of things great, right?
Yes.
He does a lot of things.
Yes.
But he can't carry a team.
No.
He can't carry a team.
24 and a half points last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very good, but
Chris Bosh.
But LaVine's got to be the guy. Like LaVine is
right.
Is the star of that team, not DeRozan.
LaVine is the one that has to step up. He has to be the one to take over and show that he's a top 10 player in this league. He's got to be the one.
If he's consistent, that's where he gets off. He has to be. Yes, he has to be consistent, but that's where he lacks skill. Sometimes he'll get you 30, but sometimes he'll get you 10.
Yeah, right. And you can't expect to win championships when you have those kind of guys there.
But I also think
you have to have the man that you can go to.
And like you said, though, Ron, I think they had built this team with Lonzo Ball being that guy that could just make it run and make it work. And guess what happened?
Yeah.
So not having him, that kind of that changed everything.
And that's what I meant by saying they had to have a little bit of good luck.
And we need to apologize, Ron.
You can't.
We need to apologize because we always made fun of with their father and all this stuff he said.
Right.
I don't think we
father's an
ever
idiot.
wanted to see these kids not be
No,
able to play.
no,
You know,
absolutely
it's just. But we'll see if he ever comes back. I mean, I don't know. To me, again, middle of road team as well. They're probably a 500 team just based on what they got.
Yeah.
Indiana Pacers, gentlemen, 35-47 last year. Second overall in blocks.
Yep.
Rick Carlisle, we talked about him. He's 60 and 104 in his return in Indiana here. Jarris Walker at number 8 and Ben Shepherd at 26 were their first round picks. Like the addition of Bruce Brown, Obi Toppin, maybe this wakes him up a little bit. That might be a good signing as well.
Yeah.
Halliburton is a legitimate player now in the league. Miles Turner, every year somebody's trading for him, never happens, and he sticks with Indiana. And Buddy Hield.
Yep.
Do they have enough pieces, gentlemen, to at least be an interesting team this year? A player?
Look, I like some of the players. I just don't like the team. I think Carlisle is right where Carlisle is supposed to be on this planet, right? You know, he's not going to be the high profile guy, you know, and he's on a team that is not a high profile team. This is far from the Reggie Miller days.
Yeah, I am shocked by you though, because he's got your guy, the guy. And I would think you would be typing this up right now with Daniel Tice and saying, look, if he's got Daniel Tice, he's a playoff contending team.
Daniel Tice.
Because we trade for him every year to make a playoff run.
Tice gets traded from teams.
Ex-Celtic.
So
that's what I'm saying, though. Think about it.
Yeah, but he doesn't. You have to get him midpoint.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. Kenny, any thoughts on the Pacers?
I mean, I like some of the players.
Kenny, no opinion. Kenny's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Benedict Mathurin. He was 4th last year and Rookie of the Year. He needs to step up. He could be a good key.
Yeah, listen, some nice pieces. They'll be all right.
I mean,
they're in a division where at least, you know what, the team's on great, so they might be able to do something.
Indiana doesn't matter now.
Kenny's pick this year to win it all. I can already hear it. Detroit Pistons, 17 and 65 last year. Monty Williams is their new coach. I like that pickup. I thought that was a pretty good one. Is it Usar Thompson?
Yes. Usar.
At 5, and then Marcus Sassier.
And his brother is. Amen.
Amen, Thompson. Yeah, they went 4 and 5, right? 4 and 5.
Yes.
Yeah. They added Joe Harris. I thought that was a pretty good addition. I think this team, right? We're going to talk more about the young guys maturing, right? Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Marvin Bagley III. Can these guys really start to?
Hey, they have a Bogdanovich.
Yeah, they do.
They go
right, but are we waiting? Like, do we see them change into some players that people start to fear?
Yeah.
I think they're going to have a lot of growing pains. They're going to lose a lot of basketball games, but they're going to have these players grow. That's all you can ask. Like, can they win 30 games?
Right. You got to build on 17, right? So if you get to 25 and you say, look, we made an 8-game improvement, Cade Cunningham turns into a legitimate guy that you want to watch every night, and Jaden Ivey, and then you start to say, wow, okay. Next year, it's the year after, it's 30, 35, right? So maybe you start to make that push. I like Monty Williams. I thought he got a raw deal in Phoenix. So I like that move as well. Any
He's
thoughts?
Injured, though, isn't he?
Any thoughts?
He's injured, though, I think.
No, Monty Williams, the head coach. Monty Williams could be.
Oh, I was thinking of Monty Morris.
He could be hurt, Monty Williams. I don't know, but they don't really put the coaches on the injury report. Right. But good catch. That's the information you get on Sports Unfolded. We even tell you when the coaches are injured. I love it.
Talking about.
Kenny, what do you got for the Pistons?
Cade Cunningham has to stay healthy, like Ron said. The first year he played 64 games. Last year, how many did he play? 12 games.
Wow.
Yeah, not a
12
lot.
that won't help.
games. Not a lot. Not a lot.
I like
Not a lot.
Burks on that team too, huh? All right. Yeah. Cade Cunningham is obviously the guy. He needs to stay healthy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But you know who's gonna, you know who's gonna save him? Buddy Boeheim, baby.
Buddy Boeheim. I think he
Buddy
got cut.
Boeheim,
Didn't he get
baby.
cut?
Oh, he didn't get cut,
I
did
think he
he?
did.
Oh,
Yeah, he's not on the team.
How you gonna cut coach's son?
Coach's son, because that's why he made the team in Syracuse.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, who wins that division? Clean sweep here.
Milwaukee.
The Bucks.
Yep, the Bucks.
The Bucks. All right.
The Bucks.
We are moving on to our final division in the Eastern Conference. That would be the Atlantic. We're going to skip Boston first, and we'll come back to Boston and finish with Boston.
All right.
Philadelphia 76ers, gentlemen. This is, if any of you watch Young and the Restless or Days of Our Lives, because this is what we got going on right now in Philadelphia. It's called the soap opera.
Soap opera.
Yeah.
They were the number one 3-point shooting team last year and the number one free throw shooting team. Made a change at coach. Doc's out. They bring in a nurse. So I like what they've done there. They kept it in the medical field.
Yes, yes.
No
yes,
first round draft pick. You see what I did there, right?
Yes.
They
yes.
added Pat Beverly, Mo Bamba, Kelly Oubre Jr., lost your boy, Mac McClung, no dunk champion this year coming out of Philadelphia.
Dang.
Joel Embiid, obviously the man, the MVP last year. Tyrese Maxey. Key is their third star. Is he even going to play for them? James Harden.
No.
It's just a saga, right? I mean, it doesn't look, even if he does play for them, right? They're going to finish second.
We're getting one.
And then get bounced out of the playoffs.
We're getting a Ron Rand.
That's how it is.
Getting a Ron Rand. Here it is.
So, it's like, this is what Harden does. This is what Harden does. He has finally resorted to these kind of antics to whatever, like not make a team because people just get fed up with him. So that way it's not his fault. It's somebody else's fault. Oh, well, they went back on their word and they cut me, blah, 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 whatever it may be. Right.
I think it was the contract.
This guy just doesn't win. He doesn't win. He doesn't know how to win. He doesn't know one bit of how to play in the playoffs.
No, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you.
I don't care if you agree because it's
No,
true.
it isn't. And I'm going to tell you, you know why he doesn't know how to win? Because he's about me. That's all it is.
What do you have to do with it?
Huh?
Oh, it
It's
is.
about me. It's about me and what I'm saying right now about him.
Me?
No, I'm you. You're me.
Who? Whoa!
Right, but you think about it. That's his mentality. It's about me, James Harden.
Right.
Yeah.
Period. He can play.
And that's what I'm
He can
saying.
play.
That's what it is.
He just doesn't.
It's like it's all about him. It's not about winning the trophy. It's
Right.
about
That's what
him.
this is now. It's not like he's saying, I want to go to Milwaukee with Giannis and Dame because I know they're going to win.
Right.
Bring me to a team that I'm going to have
Yep.
all the rain because I'm James Harden and they're going to just do what I want them to do.
Exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
He deserves what he gets. I feel bad for Embiid because Embiid is the one getting the short end of the stick here. Because honestly, if he had a player that would play and want to win, he probably would have won a championship.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you got James Harden, who, again, is going to take more time off than anything else and not play. And guess what? Your whole team is built around what you're paying this man and trying to get pieces.
And at crunch time, he panics. He absolutely panics and throws the ball away or just doesn't know what he wants to do. And he goes up and he doesn't know if he wants to pass or shoot. And then it's lost, right? This is what he does every single year. Every year, he's always on a team that can make a run. And then when they get to the postseason, he pees on himself.
Listen, Tobias Harris is going to be a big piece here because he needs to step up now and take some of that right pressure. And then I like the addition of Mo Bamba. I know it sounds silly, but this spells minutes now for Embiid because Embiid's another one of those guys that every year we talk about Can he stay healthy? Will he be healthy in the playoffs? So that was a big move. Kenny, I know you got something on Philadelphia.
You ever heard the saying, if you can't beat them, join them?
Oh, yes. I've heard that one more than the other one.
I'll get right back to that. They re-signed Paul Reed. Great. Kelly Oubre Jr., fantastic pickup.
Mm-hmm.
But remember 2019?
Yeah, it was like 5 years ago.
5 years ago, right?
Ish.
And Nick Nurse was the
coach of the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
And they won a championship.
Yeah. And who they beat out to advance to the championship?
Philadelphia.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Okay.
If you can't beat them, join them. Tyrese Maxey.
So are you saying they're going to beat out Toronto Raptors?
Oh, they might.
I just want credit for my medical field joke.
That was
a good one.
That was a good one. Tyrese Maxey shooting 40% from three. He has to get better. Yeah. Look for the 76ers to sign a point guard.
I like Maxey. I think he's a very good player. But I think about this part of it. There's two guys now you worry about in Philadelphia. And that's Embiid and that's Maxey.
Yeah.
So teams are going to start to play defensively to try to slow him down. Yeah. And if that happens, I mean, ultimately, right, they need to make sure some of these other pieces. I'm a little disappointed with the Harden thing, but, you know, it is what it is. Did we expect any different?
No.
New York Knicks, gentlemen. The Knickerbockers, 47-35 last year, second overall in rebounds, third in field goal percentage against. Tom Thibodeau, we know, defensive coach, right?
Thank you for 2008. Thank you for 2008.
Yeah, yes, there you go. Those gentlemen right there, those gentlemen behind you, they thank you as well. Dante DiVincenzo, that's a good pickup for them. Did lose Derrick Rose, Obi Toppin, Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson is what turned this team around. Ooh. Right? So you look at it now, can they improve on what they've done? Because obviously, look, defensively, 113.1 points per game isn't a Tom Thibodeau team. He's usually in the top 5 defensively. Can he turn that around and Jalen Brunson continue to do what he did?
Yeah, I think he's moving in the right direction. I mean, you got rid of Rose, right? So you get younger, more athletic. You know, I'm not saying Rose wasn't athletic at all, but he is up there in age. Mm-hmm. So getting younger and more athletic, on that bench was a key. I think they're going to be better defensively this year. I mean, they've got more time with the coach now. So it's got to get better, and I think it will. I think the Knicks are going to be a pretty good team, and Philly should be careful.
Yeah. Kenny, your thoughts on the Knicks?
Tim's got them playing. The first playoff advancement in 10 years. 10 years.
Yep.
They playing.
All right. The key
is RJ Barrett.
Yeah, right. He's got to be consistent.
He's got to be consistent.
Yeah, he's got to be consistent. And then I really like, and I know this is gonna Mitchell Robinson. He showed some flashes as well.
Yes.
Right. So if he can, maybe just put it together and be more consistent as well. Those two consistently. Julius Randle does his thing, right?
Yes.
Jalen Brunson. I like the Knicks. I like the build.
Vincenzo?
Yeah, I love that pickup. I think he's another guy that's kind of got that little fire to him.
Yeah.
Little spark. Ooh. I like it. Brooklyn Nets, gentlemen. Surprise team, right? We thought this team was going to fall apart. You lose Durant, Kyrie, and Harden. You're like, they're actually pretty good. 45-37 last year. The number 1 team in blocks. 5th in 3-point percentage, 4th in field goal percentage again. So defensively, very good. Jacques Vaughn, what a great hire that was, right? We talked about the mess there and what happened, bringing him in. Noah Clowney at 21 and Darquick Whitmore at 22. So they got a couple of young kids there in the draft.
Two
They
big
picked
men,
up
two big
Dennis
men.
Smith Jr.,
Yep.
Seth Curry, Joe Harris is a loss, but Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, the biggest key, and I know we're going to say it, and you guys aren't, it's got to be Ben Simmons. It's
Yeah.
got to be Ben Simmons, right? Does he finally, he looked good preseason,
Yeah.
and I know you're giving me that look, Kenny, but you can't admit if Ben Simmons can play to his potential again, this is a very good team. Talk me out of it. Talk me out of it, Kenny.
If. It's a big if.
If he can average almost a triple-double, which he's done in the past, I know, I'm just saying, if he stays motivated, wants to play, and he can average a triple-double, you tell me this team can't win?
You just said
It
it.
can, but
Go
that's
ahead.
not going to happen.
Go ahead.
It's just not going to happen. Ben Simmons, look, he has all the skills, but it's in between his ears. It is 100% in between his ears. You know, he is sliding down a slippery slope.
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe
You know,
enough time's passed. Maybe he
maybe,
just thought
maybe not.
he looks at it and says, hey, I may not have many more chances if I don't start to play, if I don't start to figure it out.
I'm not sure he wants to.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know if he knows that he wants to or not.
Okay. Kenny, what do you got, Kenny?
He stresses me out because he has the ability to be a great player, and he's only 27. He's only 27. He can play. He can score. He can pass. He can rebound. He can run the floor like Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, in 2 years, he's played 42 games, Eric.
I agree.
42 games in 2 years? And you take
And most of it is because he didn't want to.
Thank you. He plays when he wants to play. He plays when he wants to play. So, like you said, if he gets motivated, he'll play. If not, back
and
to
if he
square
does,
one.
and if he does,
oh, it's going to be a great year for them.
Right? He is such a. There's not one player on any team that is going to impact them more than he will with the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
he can by far make them a 50-win team or a 30-win team. Right? Like, and I'm not talking injuries. I'm just talking if everybody was healthy for the entire year, Ben Simmons plays to his potential, 50+ wins. Doesn't 30, maybe 20, to your point, Ron.
Right. But unfortunately, that's where I feel it is.
Yeah. This is a tough division, too, because, listen, every team was over 500 in this division.
Yeah.
And the Toronto Raptors finished at 500, 41-41, fifth overall in points against, so very good defensively. Darko Rajovic. How do you say his last name? Rajovic.
Yep.
Where did he come from? Do you know, Kenny?
Thunder.
Okay. Drafted. Go ahead, Ron. Grady Dick at 13. They picked up Dennis Schroeder. Obviously lost Fred VanVleet, so maybe a replacement. Pascal Siakam, another very good player.
Yeah, I like him.
Right? OG Odonabi, and then Gary Trent Jr. Coaching change.
Anunoby?
Huh?
Anunoby?
What did I say? OG Anunoby.
Oh, I thought you said something else.
Right? So, again, a lot of nice players, some solid players. Your thoughts on the Raptors, though? Are they, like, coaching change, things of that nature? Can they make the playoffs? Are they a playoff team?
No.
Are they still a 500 team?
No.
Okay. Kenny, anything on the Raptors?
Especially if Brooklyn is going to be good.
Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah. Scotty Barnes. He has to play. He can't shoot 38% from the field. He cannot. He has to increase it to have these kids win some games.
They got a Precious on their team, too.
Yeah, Precious.
Look, Siakam and Barnes, I think, are on the way out. I think this team is going to unload everybody.
I think if they struggle early, you could see them at the trade deadline start to move some of these guys. Yeah, I would agree with you there as well. I could see that.
Oh, so does Harden go to Toronto?
Could be.
We talked about I would send him to wherever he doesn't want to go. I would move on from him if I'm Philly, but I'm not giving him what he wants. I am not sitting back and saying, hey, you know what? You want to go to LA? I'll make it happen. Nope. I'm sending you to Orlando or some team. Suffer, buddy.
I'm
Good
sending
luck.
you to Toronto.
Good luck. All right, my friends. Last team in the Atlantic Division, our hometown team, the Boston Celtics, 57-25 last year. 4th overall in points for, 4th overall in points against, 4th in free throws, 4th in field goal percentage against. Joe Mazzulla, who we all kind of didn't like at first, kind of, grew on us a little bit. 57-25 last year. Jordan Walsh, the second round draft pick. I know you were a little high on him. You like that pickup. They added Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis.
Yes.
Some big pickups. But they did lose Marcus Smart, Rob Williams, Grant Williams, and Malcolm Brogdon. So that's another good cast going out. Stars, 2 legitimate stars, Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Gentlemen, let's talk some Celtics basketball. What do we think?
Hey, don't forget about that big signing extension.
Triple P? Double P?
Yes, of course. It wasn't Brown.
Double P, baby.
Double P. I listen, at the end of the day, I don't know how to think of this. Like, I want to be excited, and I'm also skeptical because I got a feeling like you lost. We talked about this so much during this whole show. A lot of heart.
A lot.
Marcus Smart was such a big piece. But you also talked about Grant Williams and then Rob Williams
Williams.
And now I'm scared because
that's a triple threat defensively, let alone offensively.
Yeah, what do you gain now? Drew Holiday is a very good defensive player, and I'm not going to discredit what he does. He's a top 5 defensive player. He can shut down guys, and you can play him anywhere. So kind of that Marcus Smart role, I'm okay with. Who replaces Rob Williams? Who replaces Grant Williams?
Who shuts down Giannis?
Porzingis. Let me tell you something. I have watched a lot.
I didn't know if both our screens froze at the same time or we were just in shock that he said it.
Let me tell you something.
I think it was more shock, but go ahead.
I have watched a lot of preseason, okay? I have watched a lot of preseason to study these Celtics, and these Celtics are legit, okay? For years, Porzingis, he's this kid can play, okay? This kid can rebound.
I'm done with you. And you know why I'm done with you, Kenny? I'm done with you right now. You know why? Because you started screaming about all those games missed by this one, games missed by that one, blah, blah, blah. How many games has Porzingis missed? I want that stat, Kenny. Talk to me there, and then you can tell me. That's my fear. Is he going to play a full season?
Oh, he's ready.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
He said it himself.
Yeah,
he said his.
I'm sure you never said that before either.
He said his foot is good. He is in a right place.
He already had an injury. He didn't even play in the World Cup.
He is going to play. That's because he didn't want to. He was focused on.
Oh, is that what it was? He's focusing on the Celtics?
That's what he said. Let me tell you something. The big three are back.
Why didn't you let us know you talked to him?
The big 3 are back.
Kenny,
the big 3 are back.
Last year,
big 3 are back.
Last year, 65. Year before that, 17. Year before that, 34. 51, 43, 57, missed an entire season, 48, 65. His rookie year, he played 72, was his most games played.
How old is this guy?
That's his most games played. 72, his rookie year, 2015-16. 9 years later, you're telling me he's going to play 70 games.
He doesn't have to play 70 games. He doesn't have to. Remember, he's here to back up Horford. Okay.
What?
He's here to
back up.
Yes, he is. He's here to give Horford some time off.
Kenny, this is what you do.
Hold on.
You need one of these.
I know that. I know
That's
that.
a slap.
But he's here to give Al Horford some time so he
You're
can
choking
rest.
on your own words.
He doesn't need to play 70. It would be nice if he did, but he doesn't need
Yeah,
to.
but the problem is, Kenny, is he going to miss those other games, in the playoffs?
No.
That's when it all counts.
Don't worry about it. Don't
don't worry.
Don't worry about it. This team, I have spent the whole 3 weeks studying this team, and this team is legit. The only reason we have to speculate is the bench scoring.
Think about this, Kenny.
We have no bench scoring.
Think about the history of the Celtics.
Yes.
Remember they got Gallinari last year?
Oh.
What happened?
Oh.
What happened?
They didn't let him play. Well, he
got hurt.
He got hurt.
He got hurt. And he missed the entire season, right?
Exactly.
I mean, Al Horford did average 9.8 points last year. Thank
Remember when
gosh
we got
got a
Hayward?
backup for him.
Remember when we got Hayward?
Yeah. First game of the
What
season.
happened?
First game of the season.
Game 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen this year.
This is
don't even put that in the atmosphere. Ron, don't even put that in the atmosphere. Oh Lord Jesus, I'm stressed out now.
All I know is this: as we started to look at the Bucks, and I'm looking at their lineup, and I'm looking at some of their backups, and some of that guy, and I'm going, I got Peyton Pritchard. That scares me.
Thank you.
Right?
That's what I'm saying. The
Sam
bench.
Hauser.
The bench is he's good. He's real good.
The only guy I like off the bench is Derek White.
He
And
can
they've
shoot
already
great.
said that they're going to rotate Derek White and Drew Holiday. And you're already messing with this whole formula. I don't like that.
It's
Joe
gonna be good.
Mazzulla said they're going to throw up more threes this year than they did
Yes.
last year.
Yes. And they can somebody got to get open. Somebody got to get open. We got a lot of sharp shooters on there, but somebody got to get open. You got to pick your poison.
Kenny?
All right. Anyway.
You got to pick your poison.
Kenny? All right.
And Jaylen Brown, happy birthday.
Who's winning this division? Because I can't with him right now.
Boston.
Al Horford is getting the start, and we're using Porzingis as a backup.
I didn't say that.
You just said he's backing up Al Horford.
I said, yeah, so Al Horford can get rest. He's 37 years old.
Al Horford's
He's 37 years old.
Al Horford is an okay player now in his career.
Okay player?
Okay. When you needed him in the playoffs,
You have a lot of guys going to OKC.
can I say this? He was the highest 3-point percentage player, I think, in the regular season. In the playoffs, he couldn't hit the side of a barn.
But he came in.
He hit the
clutch.
side of the backboard.
He came in clutch when he wanted to.
Clutch.
When he wanted to.
Boston Celtics win this division going away.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't, Kenny. All right. Gentlemen, it is time. We are going to pick remember now, 10 teams that are going to make the playoffs, and then the breakdown on how they get there.
Oh, shoot. I forgot that's what it went to.
Oh, jeez. I didn't.
Sports Unfolded. That's what we do. Great job, guys. 10 teams. Because you got a 7 through 10 play-in tournament. Did we forget that?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Well, I don't have.
And I will say this: you got an in-season tournament now. Don't forget that, gentlemen. Huh? How excited! You could win the NBA Cup. Celtics may still get a championship this year. The
Stop.
NBA Cup.
Don't even put that. Don't even put that atmosphere.
NBA Cup, Kenny. All right, let's start in the Western Conference. Your 1 seeds, gentlemen. Ron, you want to go with your first 10, 8, 7, whatever you put down? I don't know what you got.
Yeah, well, I have I have Milwaukee, number 1 seed.
In the West?
Oh, West. I'm
That's
sorry.
pretty good.
Wrong one.
Milwaukee in the West and East, they win it all. The one way they are.
They're that good. They're that good.
Okay.
I had to flip over
I
my
got you, buddy. It's
my
okay.
notebook.
Your 10 teams.
Denver, I have being the 1
Okay.
seed. I have Dallas as the number 2 seed. Phoenix, the number 3 seed. 4 is Memphis. 5 is LA. 6, Golden State.
Oh.
And I have Minnesota taking that number 7 seed, and then New Orleans taking the 8 seed.
Okay. So
Okay.
you didn't do the
So
play-in
they
thing.
win
They win the
play-in.
play-ins. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Kenny.
I-
You
I
didn't pick anything?
I didn't get that far. I didn't get that far.
Okay. One
Kenny
seed.
never performed. You should know this.
I mean, it's just 2 shows in a row now.
I know. I'm sorry.
The 1 seed, Phoenix.
Mm.
2 seed, Denver. 3 seed, Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
4 seed, Dallas. 5th seed, Golden State. 6th seed, Zion Williams stays healthy, New Orleans. 7 seed, Lakers. 8 seed, the Clippers. 9th seed, Minnesota. 10th seed, OKC.
Mm.
I actually picked Memphis to win the division. Now I realize I didn't even pick them in the playoffs. Smart right there. Throw you guys right off. I know. 7, 8 seed play. That's the Lakers, Clippers. Lakers win. They're in. 9, 10 seed. Minnesota wins. They play the loser of the 8, which is the Clippers now. Minnesota still wins. They are in as the 8 seed.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Phoenix.
You got the same teams.
Phoenix, Minnesota at 1-8 matchup. 2-7 Denver, LA, Lakers. 3-6 is Sacramento, New Orleans. 4-5 Dallas, Golden State.
Now I wanna stress something. I have Denver and Dallas number 1 and 2 because they are in easier divisions. And that's why I have Phoenix as the number 3 seed.
Okay.
Because they're going to have a tougher schedule because of being in that division.
Okay. All right.
Just saying.
So you go through your 1 through 8. So you want to go winners each. So your 1-8 seed is
My 1-8 seed is Denver, New Orleans.
winner.
Denver.
Okay. My 1-8 seed, Phoenix, Minnesota, Phoenix.
Mm.
Okay. 2-7.
Dallas, Minnesota.
Okay.
I have Dallas winning it.
Okay. I got 2-7 Denver, Los Angeles Lakers, Denver winning it. 3-6.
I have Phoenix and Golden State.
Okay.
I have Golden
Ooh.
State winning it.
Mm.
Interesting. I got 3-6. I got Sacramento, New Orleans. I think that's an easy matchup for Sacramento to advance in the playoffs. Sacramento gets it. 4-5.
Memphis, LA.
Okay.
I have LA winning.
Ooh, another big surprise there. 4-5. I got Dallas, Golden State. That would be a fun series. Dallas winning it. All right. So that leaves you.
You're going to have the same again.
Maybe. I don't think so.
No, we're not.
All right. So that means you got your 1 seed versus who?
So Denver, LA.
Yep.
I have Denver winning.
Okay. I got Phoenix, Dallas. I got Phoenix winning.
I have Dallas, Golden State. I have Golden State winning.
Ooh. I got Denver, Sacramento. 2-3 seed, Denver winning it. Which means my Western Conference Finals is Phoenix versus Denver.
Yeah, I have Denver versus Golden State,
Okay.
Okay.
and I have Golden State winning it.
Oof. I got Denver going back to the finals. Okay. All right. So Eastern Conference. So right now, Kenny, you got it. He's got Golden State.
Kenny, who do you have coming out of the West?
What do you got coming out of the West, at least?
Suns.
Okay. So he's got Phoenix.
The Suns.
Okay. All right.
Ooh, so it would be awesome if his Suns in Heat for you.
All right. My 1 seed, Boston.
Mm-hmm.
2, Milwaukee. 3, Cleveland. 4, still Philadelphia, Embiid.
Yeah.
5, Miami. 6, Atlanta. 7, New York. 8, Chicago. 9, Brooklyn. 10, Toronto.
Wow.
Okay. I have Milwaukee on the top, Boston number 2, Miami number 3, Philly number 4, Cleveland number 5, Atlanta 6,
Okay. Same there.
and I have New York winning the play-in to get number 7, and I have Chicago winning to get number 8.
Okay. So we basically had a couple of different, but the same. I got 7-8 seed was New York, Chicago. New York wins.
Mhm.
They get in. Brooklyn, Toronto, 9-10 seed. Toronto wins, which means they face Chicago in the 8-10 to get the 8 seed. Toronto wins the 8 seed. Toronto makes it into the playoffs. All right. So my 1-8 seed is Boston, Toronto. I got Boston winning. 2-7, Milwaukee, New York. Milwaukee. 3-6 is Cleveland, Atlanta. I got Cleveland. 4-5, Philadelphia, Miami. Miami wins.
Wow.
Okay. I have Milwaukee playing Chicago. Milwaukee wins. Number 2, Boston up against number 7, New York. I have Boston winning. Number 3, Miami versus Atlanta. I have Miami winning. And number 4, Philly playing number 5, Cleveland. I have Cleveland winning.
So we have all the same teams into the the second round. Not bad.
Wow.
Boston, Miami at 1-5 matchup. I got Boston. 2-3, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Milwaukee. So my Eastern Conference Finals is a rematch, Boston versus Milwaukee. A couple years ago.
I have Boston versus Miami, the number 2 and 3 seed.
Mhm.
Actually, yeah, number 2 and 3. Boston winning. Because you know they're going to be playing Miami no matter
Yeah.
what.
Every playoffs they feel.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then I have Milwaukee, Cleveland, with Cleveland winning.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh.
Upset. Upsets. So I got Boston, Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I have Boston, Cleveland.
Okay.
Mhm.
My winner, Kenny, I'm putting it in the atmosphere. The Boston Celtics in their finals.
I also have the Boston Celtics beating Cleveland.
Boston Celtics. Kenny, who's coming out of the East?
Boston.
So all three of us have picked Boston. My finals is Denver, Boston. Your finals, Kenny, is Phoenix, Boston.
Yep.
Ron's final is
Rematch, Boston, Golden State. The funny thing is, when I did all of it out, that wasn't my goal. That was not my goal.
Wow, that's crazy.
all right. Kenny, your 2023-24 champion will be
The Boston Celtics.
the Boston Celtics. Put up banner number 18 in your mind.
Yep.
Okay. Ron, you've got Golden State, Boston as well.
I got Boston winning.
Boston, number 18 in the books.
That's right.
I've got Denver, Boston. Boston, number 18 in the banners. The Boston Celtics will be the NBA champions this season.
Yeah.
This season.
Yep.
Gentlemen, it has been a blast.
I'm very confident in saying that too. And it's, because I think the Celtics make a deal at the trade deadline for a role-playing defensive player.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be surprised they bring back a guy like Grant Williams if Dallas.
I would
struggles,
not be surprised if they
something to
bring
that
somebody
effect.
back.
right?
Would not be surprised.
So don't be surprised there. I love it.
Do not be
Listen,
surprised if it's Rob
And
Williams.
we're not being homers right now, but you got to like the makeup of this team. Kenny, I agree with you. Seen some preseason action. They look like they're in sync together, like they can play together.
Yeah.
And if Porzingis is the only key, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to play 70-plus games.
Yeah.
They can't afford to not have him play 70-plus. Not.
I actually feel like even if he was to go out, I think they can still contend for that championship
Okay.
because you still have three guys that you can throw out there.
Yeah.
And, you still have Horford if he's in the playoffs. I still like my chances with that.
Okay. Kenny, what were you going to say?
You remember 2008? All the stars were coming to Celtic games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rajon Rondo's been there. Cedric Maxwell's
Stars.
been there. They're ready. They are
Yeah.
ready. They are
And
ready.
I will say the last two things, and I'll leave us on this.
Okay.
Drew Holiday, playoff tested, playoff smarts, has won championships. So now you get a
Yep.
guy that you know in big moments isn't going to crack. Secondly, Jason Tatum, it's time.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is time because he is on the brink of superstardom. This is it. Like, you've got your team now. This is a loaded team. There was always a question or a concern maybe with a guy or two. This team is from top to bottom stacked. There's no reason why he can't be a legitimate superstar this year and be in the
there's no
MVP
reason.
conversation and just take this team under his wing, because he's going to play for motivation too. Because guess what? Jaylen Brown next to you is making a lot more money, and you're going to get paid. So you're going to want to prove people that you deserve it. I think this is the year Jason Tatum does that.
Yeah.
What a great show, guys. Thank you so much. Sports Unfolded NBA 2023 preview. We are on every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ron, myself, Kenny always joins in the chat. We have a great time as well. And he's filled in, guest host. So
Kenny's the man.
check us out. We're on every social media platform. You can sponsor our show. You can follow us. You can donate bits, stars. So many different ways to like all of our platforms. If you don't have time to watch, listen to us. We are on all the audio platforms as well. So many different ways to watch, listen to us. Take time to check us out, follow us, share us. We are going to be doing this all year. Can't wait for the NBA rankings to come out as well. So tune in for that. Buy me a coffee, Ron. You can explain that.
Yeah, you can go to Buy Me a Coffee and you can basically donate to the show. And it helps us keep going and bringing more and more content to you. It's just go to Buy Me a Coffee, and it's RI Broadcast.
RI Broadcast. So check that out. I cannot wait for the NBA previews, the NBA rankings. I apologize. NHL rankings are out. NFL rankings are out. So much going on right now. World Series baseball, right? World Series baseball kicking off soon. Game 7. Can't wait.
Hey, how about those Texas Rangers?
Right? Unreal beating them,
Evaldi,
right?
man.
So get ready, guys. We're going to be talking World Series, NBA, tip off this Friday. NFL, so much going on in the NFL right now. And not to mention, listen, the NHL, no slouch in this. We cover a lot of NHL. Ron, my hockey guy, my big dog there, my basketball guy. We will see you guys this Friday night. Kenny, thank you again for joining us tonight. Ron, always a pleasure. All we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Peace.
Have a good night, everybody.